Hello everybody and welcome back. Thank you for joining us today as we are live from the Batcave. My name is Joel and with me is always my co-host
Nataru.
in your slightly Japanese accent.
Nataru.
Talk about Japanese. I know something that you've been up to because I watched it myself on the premiere day. You've released a new film on Film Form.
I have, and I love how you linked it straight with anime because, like, it absolutely is, but it's not meant. Well, it's meant to be, but it absolutely isn't. Like,
yeah. I like the anime type stuff you put in it. So those of you who watch this and don't follow Film Form Studios, which you should be, by the way, Nathan just released something called Birth of Deadpool, which is a remake of a bad film he made a while ago, and he's tried to make it self-aware and funny. So it's a remake of a film he made when he was a lot younger. And
I was fresh from watching first two seasons of My Hero Academia, so I added some anime, essence in, but then the final air quotes punch was taken straight from My Hero with the fact that he just flicks him with his finger.
Oh yeah. Is such a I was super impressed with that, and I like that you've added an anime reference in that I don't think you actually know why it's an anime reference. You know the bit where he's screaming and you cut from different angles and he's running to the guy?
Yeah.
That's anime. Like 150%. Yeah, because it's a Dragon Ball reference.
Well, it's like, because I had to. He says a line, which is, I believe, is Kokono Kite, which means come here, or listen up or something. But then I added some Japanese text at the end, and it basically says movie production. That's what it says, but it's the idea that, like, there's this meme that me and the boys have because someone, who I will not name, always used to, like, we'd always have to cut scenes short because right as they were about to end, he'd go filmmaking, and so I typed in filmmaking into translate, and it came out as movie production, and I put it to some sources. And then, if by sources I mean Meg, and then
nice.
And then she was like, I don't know what that means, and I was like, well, it's meant to be movie production, and she was like, it does. Yes, I knew that, and I was like, no, I sure. So yeah.
This is another thing. She's not really fluent.
No, I know. It's not such a thing as me going, she's fluent. Let me ask her, but just like, she definitely knows more than I do. So
yeah, for sure. She's studying Japanese as a hobby as well. What a crazy kid.
But yeah, so that came out. People seemed to enjoy it. It was very much meant to be self-aware. Like there was like different things, like a shot where we purposely showed the lights and the camera. There was a shot where he was purposely out of focus. There was a shot where he was purposely like talking about the fight scene that just occurred. Do you know what I mean? It was very much just meant to kind of get the film that once was something we made. We made the original one in 2016, and it was meant to be a good
shot
film.
For shot remake.
Yeah, and it was meant to be a good film, and we were gonna kind of shot for shot remake it, but also just like at the time there was just a lot of chuck the camera down, me and Morgan say some lines back and forth, end of scene.
Yeah.
Whereas,
what I was gonna say was it was really fun to watch just because, like, it didn't take itself seriously at all, which for me worked well with fan films. Like, I think sometimes when fan films take themselves way too seriously, and like then the VFX isn't great. But with you can do great VFX either way, so it doesn't matter. But when fan films don't take themselves seriously, it's good.
A lot of people like thought it was like meant to be good, and like I didn't try to make it bad or anything, but like there were people who were like, oh my god, this is actually great, and it's like, thank you, I appreciate it, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but just so you do know, like, this out of focus shot, it was meant to be there. The fact that we literally zoom out and I'm trying to like squeeze around the camera and the lights, that's meant to be there to take the piss. Like, do you know what I mean? I wasn't trying to make cinema.
I like that. I like the Morgan's laugh as well. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Wade's laugh.
He thought that the scene would have finished he thought that he was me jumping on the bed and that was it. And I was like, nah, bro, it's me till run outside. He was like, oh, we'll have to redo it. And I was like, bro, absolutely not. Because another thing was, you know the stool I whacked my feet on? Usually that's pushed further back. We had to move it forward to put lights there earlier on. So I didn't plan on whacking my feet against there. And I wouldn't lie to you, it didn't feel great. But...
Oh.
You know what they say.
I did see you using like a not a C stand, a light stand as like an electricity sort of prop.
Yes.
And I was like, any filmmaker is gonna look at that and be like, that's just a generic clip-on light stand.
Literally, there's a light stand. The blue thing was a phone holder. There was some aux cables, and then literally the conductor was just a guitar cable, a guitar jack cable, just ran through a pipe. But the first time was just my phone. Morgan held it up in the air. And like we just got some blue paint from paint.net that wasn't even tracked to his hand, just there, and that was the machine. So yeah,
I like the little effect you did with Morgan's face. I think because I'm such a supportive friend, and I never criticize any of the movies you make ever, Nathan. Do I ever? I never criticize them.
I don't even think you've criticized the worst ones we've done. You're
such a decent lad. That's a lie, by the way. When I first met Nathan, he just released one of his Spider-Man films. I won't tell you which one, because then you'll know exactly how long I've known him. But he just released one of his Spider-Man films, and I was like, "There's a shot at the end that you really fucked up." And he was like, "What do you mean?" And I took him through it, and I showed him which shot I meant. But like, I don't
even know what shot it is now. But go on, carry on.
Yeah,
I remember it happening.
I would say dog. Maybe you'll get that.
Dog?
Man and dog.
Oh, yeah. Oh, bro. Bro.
Yeah.
Oh, it was meant to be there all along.
Yeah, I don't know. You're right. So we've always been those sort of friends where we'll build from each other. But I genuinely think this movie was really, really funny. From a filmmaking point of view, Nathan, was the stabilization on the camera? Because those intro shots.
Well, that's the thing. Other than those intro shots that were clearly like not on a gimbal or nothing. Like, the thing about this film is you can't really be like, oh, that's not what you're meant to do in filmmaking. But it's like, well, yeah, obviously. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you're not meant to, like, do like the one thing I'm very proud of. I like. We did Deadpool's eyes moving in a thing called Ultimate Showdowns like 2 years ago, and it was god awful.
Yeah,
like they barely they were moving so much just because I couldn't keep it tracked. This time around, obviously, I kind of sorted the Deadpool eyes, but the one thing that I'm just like didn't expect to come out the way it did was just when Sam punches me, and I go flying like.
Yeah, that's like the best VFX shot in the whole thing, I think.
Like even that I feel like I could have done better, but like I'm still mad proud of how that worked out.
You slapped that. You definitely slapped that. I liked a couple of VFX shots that I liked. I liked the one where he punches you and you obviously go flying. I liked the sky effect you did. The effect in which the sky changed. Was it like a sky replacement, or did you just add effects over a normal sky?
Where's this now?
It's in the film at some point. Like we just see the outside of the house, and then the sky changes.
Is it when like there's the explosion in the sky?
Yeah.
There was so basically I did a mask around the buildings, and I tracked that mask so that they constantly were there. And then I got the original sky, and then when the explosion happened, then it changed to a kind of a newer. I got the same template of the sky, but then I kind of replaced it off. So I used it as like a tracer, basically. So like the sky looks the same, but it's not the original footage, if you get what I mean.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, and then I added just the shockwaves and the lightning and stuff.
Did you ever think of like at the start, because obviously you wouldn't have known until you put the stuff you wouldn't have known until you put the footage into the editing program that obviously the intro shots were going to be a bit shaky and stuff, because I thought there was something wrong with my phone. I was like, what's going on?
Bro, but this is the thing, is that's always the thing with DSLRs in terms of, especially in terms of like focus as well. Like the screens are so small. It's like, this looks chill.
That's the thing. You look at it under the viewfinder and it looks like one 100% lighter than it actually is.
Yeah.
And two, like, the viewfinder's so small, you can't see any problems with stabilization, but the moment you put it on a screen that's like, even like on my mobile phone, which is only that little bit bigger than that screen, you can then begin to see the...
And it's the exact same with like noise and grain as well. Like on that little viewfinder, you can't see shit, but then chuck it on a somewhat decent HD screen, and then it's just there.
Yeah. And I was looking at before, like when you did the shots, and I was looking at maybe there's a way you could do it. Did you think about shooting in 60 frames per second, or was there not enough light in the room for it?
So that's the thing. So originally I did, and it was very, very faint that you could see the kind of refreshment of it all. Because you know, like if there's not enough light, you get the black kind of flippy. I forget what's called.
Yeah. You need to do it properly light something.
Yeah,
that's 60 frames per second, because the camera needs more light because you're taking more pictures per second.
Yeah, and like it was ever so slightly clear that it wasn't, you know.
Because if you shot it in 60 frames per second, then you could have slowed the footage down, and then that way, even if it was shaky in real time in slow motion, you would have had a smooth shot no matter what. Even if you were going up and down, it still would have been a smooth movement for up and down.
I also originally tried warp stabilizer in After Effects and Premiere, but it kind of it made it look like it was moving in 3D
was
space.
Moving rather than the things.
It kind of made it look like he was kind of moving, like, you know, horizontal, if you get what I mean, like he was being pulled forward. I
found with that editing software that sort of warp stabilization that the editing software has inbuilt in it, just the normal one that doesn't include any plugins, that is basically only really used for open wide space shots. Like if you're tracking someone running upstairs, right, but you're not running up those stairs, but you know, you've just got like a handheld shot of someone running upstairs, but like you're a far away from them. Like you can warp stabilize that and zoom in. Literally, and then it will just be so smooth.
I tend to find that if you're moving, if you're moving in the way that a tripod can move, so up, down, you know, around in a circle, you know, like that, it tends to work. But the second you start moving diagonally forward and back, then that's when it doesn't really work. Any form of stabilization.
Yeah,
or like tracking.
I mean, there's inbuilt stabilization to your camera lens, because I have the same lens. And you know, without that stabilization, those shots might have been even shakier. So, like, I think for the film, it worked fine, because obviously the type of film that it is, right? You could just get away with that being sort of intentional.
Well, exactly. Like in the original film, it's just me with my camera, and I'm just like moving through the bedroom. It pans up to the dinosaur. It pans up to the cupboard where the Pokemon hat is. Then it pans down to Morgan. Obviously, we didn't want to do it like that, so we just had a shot of the dinosaur, a shot of the Pokemon hat, a shot of Morgan. But then I needed space at the start, because it just wasn't long enough. So yeah, that's when I kind of shot those, because like those scenes were shot afterwards, like with the light and the plant and on the floor.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
have you announced the big project yet for film form?
I'm gonna say no, just because I don't know, but I don't know what you're referring to. I will say that what's been announced is Nightwing, and also Spider-Man 3 is a thing that's happening.
I mean a more recent project that includes not just film form.
Oh, okay. So, as of this podcast releasing, the trailer's gone up. So yes, but also like people have been putting up on their Instagram stories. So, are you talking about the retrospective?
Okay. I'm talking about the Star Wars.
Yes, the Star Wars retrospective. Yes. On Film Form, there's a big collaboration, and I'm going to list everyone off now. Hope I don't forget anyone. There's Film Form Studios, JP Lee Productions himself, the Lonely Spider, Bid Studios, Nut Algae Productions, Golden Arrow Media, and FFC Memes. Is there anyone else? I'm trying to think. Bryn from High Mountain Studios, And yeah, that's it.
There's 9 people in total, including Nathan, Morgan, and me. So there's 6 others that are working on it as well.
And we've had 3 in so far. We've had episode 1, episode 2, and episode 6. And I'm actually part of episode 6 because there's like a little scene at the start that I won't.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I know. But there's a little scene at the start where I'm in it. So yeah.
So I will be reviewing one of the episodes. I won't tell you yet because that's spoilers. But I will be making my official debut on film.
I was gonna say the unofficial was 2 weeks ago.
Unofficial ones.
But this is what I was gonna say. On the podcast, you're hearing it here first, folks. This is coming up on the Friday. On the Monday after this, I'm reviving 2 weeks ago for the week. And by that I mean I'm just gonna vlog the week because I always do a birthday vlog, minus like 2018. But
right.
Obviously the main event of my birthday is happening on the weekend. So, like, yeah, we're just gonna have a birthday vlog, and I'm just gonna be like, this is 2 weeks ago, even though it's not, even though it is. So yeah.
Instead of 2 weeks ago, I did this. It would be like, my birthday happened, and this is what happened on my birthday.
Yep, worked on my birthday. And then had a bit of fun on the weekend, but not too much because you got to stay safe nowadays.
Yes, indeed. Okay, well, we've spoken a lot about our projects and stuff, and I don't want to go into much with mine. I'm a very secretive man when it comes to the projects I'm not working on.
Bro, you have projects working on that I didn't even know about.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things. Is I will say to the audience as well, and I'll say to you, the reason I don't announce projects or tell people what I'm working on is because things can go wrong, and until it's done, I don't like telling people it's going to be done.
Hey, listen, right? That's a good point, and I used to go with that, and I still do to an extent, but Destiny, right? Destiny spawned Redemption and then spawned Tyrannosaurus, yeah?
Yeah.
Originally, Destiny was meant to be a series. I wasn't going to release episode 1 until all the episodes were finished.
Right.
Obviously, we never made the other episodes. We made half of episode 2, and then that was it. So, like, you know, if Destiny hadn't come out, then Redemption wouldn't have happened. Tyrannosaurus wouldn't have happened. Well, that's the thing.
It is a project by project basis, and it doesn't work on sequels like that sort of instance. It's like there are a couple of projects that are in the works, but one of the projects has been cancelled due to recent events in my life, right?
Yeah.
So if I would have told people about that project, then people might have been excited for it, and then now I physically I'm not able to do it, or I could do it, but it would be a lot more stress than the other projects that I'm working on, and like I'm in sort of 5 or 6 different mindsets with these projects. Like I've got 5 or 6 different things running, but one of the big things that is coming is the official start of the JP Lee channel. I was waiting until COVID-19 was over in order to start it, but I think in general I will just give a place and a link for people to be able to subscribe, ready for when my videos do start. But like I have a lot of projects going on, some in the writing stage, some in the filming stage, some in the stages which don't include any of that sort of stuff. So we will see for the future, and I will announce something when I know that it's going to come out.
That's fair, bro. That's fair.
But you know what? I have announced on Film Form Studios a bunch of times, Nightwing, and that is going to come out eventually. So, guys, if you want to see me and Nathan collaborate on something that isn't a podcast, just you wait for Nightwing.
Yeah, I obviously I've talked about Nightwing a lot. I'm really excited for it. Like, my mate Ali, who is also part of the Star Wars collab, he was mentioned, he's bringing it up, and he's pretty good at making costumes, and he was like, is there anything I can help with, you know, kind of help you speed along the process? And, you know, I kind of said to him, I'm like, maybe, yeah, if you didn't live in Dubai, but,
like, if you didn't live there. Yeah.
But no, he's a really cool guy, but he and I, there we are, that's the correct sentence structure. He and I talk about Nightwing, and he's very interested in it, and I know a lot of other people are also. So yeah, I still love the guy who went, have you got permission off Ismahawk? And I was like, bro, I love Ismahawk. They're the reason I got into filmmaking, but they don't own Nightwing by any means.
And also, this will be a project. I don't think this is a spoiler, right? Have you? I don't know if you've announced this or anything, but I guess it's my thing to announce. This will be a project that's not directed by Nathan. I'm directing this film.
Yeah,
Nathan,
and it's gonna.
Nathan will be part of this film.
It's gonna be it's gonna be on film form, and it's gonna be a film form project, but it's not gonna be Meteorite Media. It's gonna be JP Lee.
Yeah, it's gonna be JP Lee, but it's gonna go to film form because. The Meteorite Media consists of all the members of Film Form that you guys know, but they're all my best friends.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to work together a lot in the future, but it's easier if I do the JP Lee brand on Film Form because then I can have a separate universe.
Yeah, it's more of like a distributor than a.
Yeah, exactly. I get to have a separate universe from their stuff that they do, just in case I wanted to make some sort of things, like if I want to make an X-Men project, which I'm not, guys, I'm not, but if I want to make an X-Men project, Morgan, in their universe is Spider-Man, so he couldn't be Nightcrawler in mine, but doesn't he look like a good Nightcrawler, guys?
Bro, I've always thought that, right? But not only that, like, he just looks like he'd suit a character who was blue, just in general. Like,
yeah,
if there was some sort of, like, Warlock or Hobbit that was just blue, like, I feel like it just fits.
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, we look forward to it in the future. This is the thing. I'll be posting on my channel, and I'll be posting on Film Form a little bit in the future.
Because this is the thing. Like you mentioned, we're all best friends. It's like realistically, as like a group, as an extended group, there's like 5 of us, right? 4 of which are into filmmaking, 3 of which are Meteorite, and 1 of which is JP Lee. The only reason why 3 are Meteorite and 1 is JP Lee is because it was already a thing before we met.
Yeah.
So it's not as if, but, again, lots of stuff that's been on Film Form recently, the ideas have come from Joe. Lots of stuff that we've done in general. Like, we like, there's an idea that we've just had, which is a podcast idea, which we won't bring up yet, just in case it doesn't go through. But even though Joel's always had his heart set out for podcasts, I was like, should we do this? And Joel was like, yeah. So, it's more of a,
it's a collaboration on both our parts. I love to see Film Form thrive and stuff like that. Which is, by the way, viewers of Film Form, you're a very lucky bunch that I came into Nathan's life, because the reason he's currently uploading and he has an upload schedule was because I moaned at him.
Literally, if it weren't for that, I'd still be sat on my ass just going, oh, I need to write Spider-Man 3 whilst not writing Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. But you're a YouTube channel, so you can
upload now,
a bunch of content.
I'm saying I need to write Spider-Man 3, but can't because I'm making videos. No. Yeah. Well, that's the thing, like, obviously, Mighty Morphin Month is in August, right? This August, and it's like I did that 2 years ago. The reason I didn't do it last year, I was gonna, but then I was like, what's the point? But now that I'm gonna be uploading it anyway, why not make, the Saturdays Mighty Morphin Month for the next 4 weeks?
Yeah, definitely. I like this thing, and also there's a lot of stuff in the Power Rangers community now, in the fandom of Power Rangers.
Literally, I was so close from buying the new Lightning Morpher this morning, but like I think I'm just gonna hold out because as a set piece, it looks cool. There's a stand to go with it, but the stand is just like really hollow plastic, so I'm not that too keen. But if I ever do another Power Ranger thing where it goes a bit more like legit in terms of there is like a room filled with smoke with this morpher with the stand on it, maybe then I'll buy it, and also have the production value to do that. But
well, I've been doing a big move around in my bedroom because I'm trying to get some sort of like filming space like Nathan has. Even though I like to film my stuff like out and about and stuff like that, I don't have very good stabilization. And the thing is sometimes I'm gonna have to do talking head videos in which I'm just stationary. So I was trying to get like a cool setup. So I've put all my figurines and all my cool stuff in a box. And I am currently in the process of trying to get some floating shelves from IKEA. In order to put like some figurines out, put some LEDs up, have a cool little setup for behind me. The issue is, I tried to go to IKEA. There was you know how big the IKEA car park is?
Yes.
Yeah. So there was a queue the whole way around that, all the way onto the roundabout just before it.
Bro, don't even get me started, right? I thought Tesco was bad when I go to work in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I Yeah, oh my god. And for the record, I don't work in Tesco, everyone. Don't go searching the Tesco's for me, because I know I'm that famous. But, no. Yeah, like, literally, like, the car park in Tesco, just when I get dropped off to work, is just filling up day by day, to the point where, like, it's filling up with cars and then filling up with people in shorts, even if it's cold. Like, don't even get me started.
No, I know. You do work quite close to that Tesco. Okay, do you want to speed read through the news? Because I'm sure that everyone is interested in our lives and our collaborations and the fact that I will be posting a video on film form for the first time. But I think they also want to know, Nathan, what is the word on the web? We'll do it at speedy time this time, though.
The word on the web is that Shang-Chi has resumed filming in Australia.
Woohoo!
As of this week.
I'm so excited. So
we are going to get the Mandalorian, the Mandarin, as we deserved him. Because don't get me wrong, I love our boy Trevor Slattery, yeah? He's a great
I like Ben
guy.
King. He's a good guy.
But he's not...
He's not the Mandarin.
He's an actor.
He's an actor. And the Mandarin from the comics is so badass. But I normally, on this podcast, take the stance of the person who knows the source material, and Nathan takes the stance of someone who knows a lot about like pop culture news and you know, films and stuff like that as well. But with this one, I don't want to focus on the source material at all, because Shang-Chi probably has some cool stories, but I'm not aware of them. I know the Mandarin is a super cool person.
Bro, but when they announced this, I was like, okay, no clue who Shang-Chi is, but I know what the 10 rings are, and I know what the Mandarin is. Do you know what I mean? And it was like...
Yeah, I've been told that Shang-Chi is like... is sort of like Iron Fist, but if Iron Fist was interesting.
Yes, I hope they go full on with it, because, like, you know, the reason why they made Tilda Swinton the Ancient One is because I didn't want to stereotype the Ancient One as like this old Asian,
like kind of the master type trope. Yeah,
they didn't want to make that stereotype, but then Doctor Strange literally goes up to this old Asian man, assuming he's the Ancient One. Bro, you've just made the stereotype already.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
She's a good Ancient One though.
I love Tilda Swinton. She's really good. But like, yeah, I really don't want them to try and beat around the bush. Like, if the source material is this hardcore Asian man who's just the coolest guy going, I don't want it to be like obviously, by no means, if the original source material was racist in any way, bin that, obviously.
Yeah, bin that, obviously.
But like, this is like, it's a culture. It's not white men making a film about non-white men. It's like, just as long as you're doing the culture justice, and you're not just taking it for, you know, with a pinch of salt, and you're not just being we'll
like,
just, you know.
I know a little bit about Shang-Chi, right? So I know that Shang-Chi is a martial artist. That's like his thing.
Yeah,
he's a superhero martial artist,
which I'm really looking forward to. Some cool fight scenes. Yes, I want to see some cool fights.
Yeah, definitely. So he's super cool. I believe his power set, because he does have some sort of superpowers. His power set is related to the martial arts the same way Iron Fist is.
Yeah. Well,
because he's teamed up with Iron Fist in the past quite a few times, I believe.
I don't mind Iron Fist as a character for how he's not shown, but like, you know, he's this guy, he's ripped, he has a cool suit, and, you know, I'm not talking about the Netflix version, I was just thinking in general.
No.
Like, you know, the concept of Iron Fist is cool, right?
We forget the Netflix stuff.
Yeah, legit, right? The concept of that is really dope. And with Shang-Chi, I want the same concept, kind of. I want to see justice done to the idea of a guy who's just this sick martial artist who also is classed as a superhero. Because, like, Bruce Lee, like, banging martial artist, but, like, no one's going, oh, you know this superhero? Yeah, Bruce Lee, in all the comic book films.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I just want...
No, so
it doesn't have to be too down to earth. Like, just
he's super interesting. So what I'll say, first of all, like you said before about the sort of thing of like keeping culture in there and stuff like that is that he is Asian descent, and he is like, obviously he knows martial arts and stuff, which is like a stereotype of Asian people. But it is an Asian character, and there is very Asian themes in it. They have cast someone Asian this time, thank the Lord. And the person that they have cast is one of my favourite actors in the world. I watch a show called Kim's Convenience, and it's a sitcom show, and it's one of the funniest shows ever, and it like follows a Korean family and their convenience store. And he plays their estranged son.
Right, okay.
And he is super good in it, and he's super funny, and he's really cool, and I've seen his martial arts skills, which he has, by the way. He's not just a good actor that's taking this role on that can't do martial arts. This guy can do martial arts. So, you know, one of my favourite actors that can definitely bring comedy, which I think is quite important to the Marvel Universe after Thor's sort of given us the preset of what comedy can be in these serious films. You know, brief breaks in the action in order to say comedic lines and stuff, but you got to hit hard when you do that, and you got to be funny. Yeah. And I feel like Simu Liu, which is the guy who's playing Shang-Chi, is going to rock that. He's going to be amusing, but he's also going to be, you know, really good at the martial arts. His father is in the comics like someone of like, he basically is only related to Shang-Chi, but like he's actually technically like an important character, right? But just suffice to say, it's important that his father trained him in martial arts, because his father's quite an important person.
Right.
So yeah, so that's the thing. Like, I don't know too much about the comics. I've not read like super interesting stories or anything like that. I just know his normal origin, his backstory, stuff like that. And I know the actor that's going to play him, and he's super excited to play him. There's a funny interaction between the actor and Marvel. So the actor, like years ago now, I think it was like not 10 years ago, but at least over 5 years ago, said he tweeted at Marvel saying, like, hey, you guys should have an Asian superhero, call me if you like, or whatever. And then like 5 years later, he's cast as Shang-Chi in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, bro.
And then he like tweets them back like, cool, thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
It's like, cheers. That's the only 2 tweets on his account now. He just deleted all the others. Like,
yeah, no, and he's super excited. He will like every Comic-Con, every panel and stuff we've sseen of Shang-Chi stuff. He turns up. He's like still in awe. He's like, Kevin Feige has my number.
Yeah.
Like, he's a super fan, and I love that from people who are interested in roles. Like, I love how passionate Henry Cavill is about The Witcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things for me, and I love him as an actor. Oh, I'm so excited.
To me, it's like the Tom Holland story, but just cooler. Because, like,
yeah,
you know, like, you can't get too much cooler than Spider-Man, but, like, the fact that this guy tweeted him 5 years ago, and now he's being cast as a very specific role, because, like, you know, anyone could have been cast as Peter Parker. Like, realistically, they needed an Asian, someone who's Asian to be Shang-Chi. So the fact that he's now just like, I get called like weekly by Kevin Feige to discuss stuff. I'm gonna be in the MCU, and like, I grew up watching this shit. Like, it's cool to see Tom Holland as like with kids' photos of him like wearing Spider-Man clothes and with a Spider-Man toy and all that. But he's very much milked at this point. Like, I'm just looking forward to seeing someone who loves what they're going to be doing, because obviously they're not actually, well, they are filming, but you know what I mean, like, you can't really say that he's a veteran, like, do you know what I mean?
No.
But like, loves what they're doing and appreciates it for what it is as well, because again, you only really got that with Tom Holland. There's no one else that's really like a Marvel fanatic.
Yeah so so he had to keep under wraps that he was cast as Shang-Chi for a while. But this is like the tweet chain. So in 2014, he said, hey, at Marvel, great job with Captain America and Thor. Now, how about an Asian American hero? And then that was 2014. And then in 2018, he said, okay, at Marvel, are we going to talk or what? Hashtag Shang-Chi.
Right.
2019, he tweets, well, shit. And then the day after he tweets, well, shit, thanks for getting back to me. And he, like, quotes his other tweets. And then he tells the world that he is Shang-Chi and he's been cast.
Bro, like
from 2014. Like, that's so dope.
I just love the idea of, like, him in 2018 going, oh, guy, really, let's talk about this, you know? And then, like, Shang-Chi being is it Shang-Chi or Chang-Chi?
It's Shang, S-H, and then Chi.
Right, got you.
Yeah.
I love the idea of him being like, oh, make me Shang-Chi, and then being like, well, shit, and then Comic-Con happening, them announcing Shang-Chi,
yeah,
and then like, oh, bro,
and it's so cool because in 2018 as well, he posted just a random picture that had nothing to do with his at Marvel stuff, which he'd done at like 2014 and 2018, but just a different one. And he said, people ask why I go shirtless a lot because it's just like a picture of him shirtless. I think it's for like a magazine. And so he said, people ask why I go shirtless a lot. Look, I'm just waiting for Hollywood to make me a superhero suit. Hashtag still waiting. Hashtag Sunfire. Hashtag Namor. Hashtag Terry McGinnis. Hashtag Armadillo. He's like, this guy obviously loves superheroes and like his character in Kim's Convenience has like a comic book collection as well. So I was like, it's definitely a thing that's in his actual likes and interests, is he loves superheroes.
Bro, I love it.
Yeah,
I want more people to be cast that actually, because it's like, you know, when like Kevin Smith gets to direct episodes of The Flash or episodes of Supergirl, then you're like, this is a man who loves this property, and it's like, bro, it's why I want to direct a live action Power Rangers series when I'm older. Like, it's one of my goals is to get a mini series from Marvel to direct a Doorman series. But yeah, like I have that exact thing. Yeah, I've loved comic books for like my entire life. I'm now going into the film industry in which I want to be a director. And like the film industry is popping with superhero stuff. I'm like, yo, I want this. If Simu Liu can talk his way into the Marvel universe, maybe I can too. Just to preface, the week I met Joe, he like showed his love for comic books, right? When we first got talking, he just explained to me just Doorman. Not something specifically about Doorman. He just explained to me Doorman as a comic, as a character, as a human being, and I was just like, I've never heard of that guy before. Sounds cool, but like, I just saw a passion in his eyes, you know.
He is a offcut. He's from the Great Lake Avengers, the team that Squirrel Girl is on, like Immortal Man and stuff. It's stupid, but I've got such a fire in my stomach to give Marvel some of it, because what I saw them do with the Guardians, which were just such a bad team in the comics for me, like I've never really liked Guardians comics, but they just made those movies so good, and I actually like the Great Lake Avengers comics, so I was like, you know what, this is an offcut, it's weird, it's Marvel. I was like, oh, I love Doorman, so I've read all the Doorman stuff and all the comics he features in now, and I'm ready, Marvel, just whenever, just at me.
that PVT, Joel.
Yeah. Oh no. If you want to get in contact with me, my phone number is I'm joking.
My phone number is 17 Northwood Close.
Yes, my phone number is the White House. So I have another piece of news, because I think we should speed through these news, because I really want to talk about what we watched, which was, by the way, Stargirl, guys. So there has been talks about a Monster Hunter movie. So Monster Hunter is a video game series, a really good one at that. I've played a couple of the games. And there is currently a really big one called Monster Hunter World, so that's great. But there was a movie being developed about it, and reports have said that the Monster Hunter movie is 100% finished, but definitely won't be released until 2021.
Right.
Yeah, so COVID-19 has caused chaos in Hollywood, and Monster Hunter is a victim of that, right? So now the director, Wes Anderson, good director, has confirmed that despite the movie being done, we won't see it in theaters until 2021.
Do you reckon that's gonna? Do you reckon, like, for example, Black Widow and stuff like that, that's scheduled for like November, is gonna be released in then? Just not to go off topic, but like if they're really pushing that one to 2021, even though it's finished.
Yeah, like the film's like fully finished. Yeah. So you know, it's difficult and to sort of give a timescale to the Marvel stuff. All right, because the Marvel stuff is, although it's, you know, it's still like big blockbuster Hollywood, like dream machine, cash machine. I think it's not as much as a risk as Monster Hunter is, because people watch Marvel films, right?
Yeah.
Like, this has a niche game audience, and then from that game audience, also, if it's a good film, then it will do well, right?
Yeah.
But the concept is wicked, and I think, yeah, it does definitely work well for a film. So, you know, Wes Anderson giving us this Monster Hunter loosely based on the video games. Ron Perlman's in it, so that's cool. I really want to see this, and it's a shame I can't see it until 2021, but hey, you know, we're in the 8th month of 2020. Like, a lot of these things in which I'm like, oh, we're never going to get to see this, we're going to see them pretty soon. So
like, it's so insane, because not to like change subject or anything, I was meant to be seeing Deep next month. That's been postponed to April next year, but it's also in Bristol now. But like the Cardiff tickets are still valid, and if this was me last year, I would have been going, oh my Jesus, why is it that long? But like, if it went for COVID, I would have seen Queen 2 months ago, and I got those tickets at Christmas, and I was like, oh my God, that's gonna be so long, and that would have been 2 months ago. So I'm honestly happy to wait for things at this point, because if it means I can see them with the experience I'd like, then, you know,
definitely.
Like, if Endgame was this year, I wouldn't. As much as I wanted it, I'd see it. Like, nothing will beat that first cinema experience.
Oh yeah. That's the thing. I don't like. I technically, like, with Black Widow, I'm really not that interested in the movie, but like, I know I will enjoy it more if I go see it in cinema.
Exactly.
If it's released on streaming, it's probably gonna be a bit of a stinker for me.
Like, there is no. I don't want to miss a Marvel movie. Like, put it that way. Like, you know, I didn't think Captain Marvel was going to be banging, right? But I went to see it, and it wasn't amazing, but I was like, you know, cinema, like, I haven't watched it since. I've watched it once. I watched it in the cinema. Like, I haven't watched it since, because I was like, there's no need. Endgame I can watch, like, on loop, right? I won't, because it's the 3-hour film. But, you know. But it's like, I can watch a film, because, like, I couldn't watch Infinity War for the longest time, because I was just like, you know, I've just seen it so many times now, it's just old. I got to see it again in cinema when I watched Double Bill, and just to watch it in cinema again, I was like 4 years old watching.
Goggles, you know what I
mean?
Do
you know what I mean?
Like, through those lenses,
That's why I keep saying, if cinemas reopen and they start to show things like, I don't know, Star Wars or Back to the Future or whatever, like older films, I'm going to see them, even if I get COVID, because I at least die saying, hey, I got to see Back to the Future in cinema, and it was goddamn amazing. Like, bro, the cinema experience is needed, and all the films that are trying to push their way through, I agree with this film. I just say wait then, because
definitely. I say like, some of these films, definitely I want to see them do well in the box office, and then after the box office as well. Like, a bunch of these people are like, oh, well, if they just release it on streaming and stuff, you know, that bolsters their streaming services, and more people will subscribe, and they'll still get their money. No, dude, they can do that after it's gone to cinema as well. You know what I mean? Like, home release is yes, technically a really good way for filmmakers to get more money in for the company and for the film.
Trolls World Tour, bro.
Yeah, like, did well. But if that released in cinema and then home release, would have done double as well.
Yeah. Oh, we without a doubt have done more, because obviously there's just twice as much, you know, going into it going into.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's the price of initial tickets and stuff. But I remember when I was a kid, there was movies I would watch like on repeat and stuff. There was movies that I did have home DVDs for because my parents were like, yeah, you saw this in cinema, you really liked it, so we bought it for you, and now you can watch it whenever you want in your bedroom. And I did like a million times. Right?
Yeah.
So that's how it works. If you just watch it on home release for the first time and then like it, that's fine. You've bought it once. But if you liked it in the cinema and then you buy it for home release, you've bought it twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the difference between one sale and two sales for a studio, even if only 20% do that 20% extra on top covers the marketing budget, the different costs that went into the movie, especially with animations. It's a
that's another thing,
machine.
right? That's another thing. Say now, me and my dad go to the cinema to see, let's say, Black Widow, right?
Mm-hmm.
He and I have both bought a ticket. That's £10, right? He's not going to buy Black Widow on Blu-ray, but I am.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? So, if it just comes out on Blu-ray, I'm going to buy it. That's £15 from me. But if it comes out in the cinema, me and my dad see it.
Plus, like, the things with, like, Sky Movies and Virgin Movies and,
exactly.
like, whatever you get, like, in America, like, where you can just, you know, with Now TV and stuff as well, like, you can buy that on your TV. Like, you can just buy the movies on your TV.
Yeah.
And like, those home releases as well, like, do really well. So, like, DVDs, quite cheap, you know, but Blu-rays, not so cheap. You know, it bolsters the market. Plus, they give you special editions. Like, the at-home Infinity War Endgame special edition stuff definitely bolstered some of the profits because that was expensive.
But even though it was a long time ago, right, and there was a big time period between the releases, like Spider-Man 2, like the 2004 one, banging film. I would have died to have seen it in the cinema. You know, I was like 1 year old, so, you know, I couldn't. But
yeah,
Spider-Man, with the Blu-rays I've got, there's Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 2.1. I always go for the 2.1 just because, you know, it's just a bit longer, bit extra stuff, and it's just cool overall, like.
Director's cut sort of thing, is it?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And I never watch the original version. I always watch 2.1.
Yeah.
And that's if I didn't have, the Blu-ray of it. Well, I got it in like a box set. I got it with like 1, 2, 3 and Tarzan 1 and 2. But,
so,
you know.
So that's the thing. I did something really similar, but I did watch Spider-Man 3 in cinemas. So I watched Spider-Man 3 in cinemas, the original Raimi trilogy, and then my parents went out, and obviously I'd seen 1 and 2 because my parents wouldn't let me go if I hadn't seen 1 and 2. They're movie-minded.
Oh, bro, my first ever time in a cinema, was Madagascar 2, bro, and then that Christmas that year, then I got given Madagascar 1, bro. Explain that to me.
That's a tragedy, and I blame the parents, really. No, I'm joking. So
I would see with my bamps, bro. We were chatting.
See. It's that energy of you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So I watched Spider-Man 3. So I'd watched Spider-Man 1 and 2. My parents, I think they had it like somewhere, but I remember watching it over a friend's house. Spider-Man 1, and then Spider-Man 2. My parents got me to watch. Then I went to watch Spider-Man 3. Then, when I, as a child, was like, big villains, so many of them, this is a good film. It's not a good film. But as a child, I was like, Spider-Man, I love Spider-Man. Please buy me everything Spider-Man. My parents bought me the Raimi trilogy, all DVDs. So I had the Raimi trilogy of DVDs. It did not just give them a sale of Spider-Man 3. It gave them a sale of the previous movies as well. Yeah,
exactly. And that's the thing with, like, sequels, because if, like, where I work, I put out in stock today, we had John Wick 1, John Wick 2, but then John Wick 1 and 2 in a box set. John Wick 1, John Wick 2, and then John Wick 1, 2, and 3 in a box set. People weren't buying John Wick 1 and John Wick 2, they were buying John Wick 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
But they were only buying that. Like, there was literally two guys today who were saying that they've got the first two, but they can't find the third one anywhere, so they're just gonna buy the box set.
Yeah, just buy the box set. Yeah.
Yeah, because it has the third one, and like that's the thing. Obviously, like I have the Star Wars complete saga, but that came out before Force Awakens. Therefore, there's now another complete saga box set that's out or coming out. But obviously, there's people who have bought the original trilogy. this.
One of my
prequels.
DVDs as well came with, because I have a little DVD collection of Kevin Smith stuff. And one of the Kevin Smith films, I think it's Clerks 2, comes with like Zack and Miri.
Yeah, like I've seen one of them. That's because obviously for Christmas my dad got me the Kevin Smith box set, which was Clerks 1, Chasing Amy, and Strike Back. But obviously I all bangers, bro. But I had to get Mallrats and Clerks 2, and I think they're like US imports because the cases are a bit thinner. Right. But yeah, like for the only British one I could find was a Zack and Miri mix, which obviously it's like kind of you askew but not. So like there's characters that show up in Reboot, but yeah. But obviously I had to go and find Mallrats, because like Dogma, bro. I bought Dogma on DVD.
Oh yeah, we both don't have Dogma.
I want Dogma on Blu-ray, bro, because obviously I want the complete collection, but it's because it was never re-released. It's like $100, and I'm tempted one of these days, but you know, like, I'm not spending $100 on
Blu-ray,
bro. That I probably wouldn't even watch straight away.
I think eventually we'll get a re-release.
Hopefully, but exactly as soon as they do, I'm buying it. A film that came out when was it? 2000? Not even that. 1999, wasn't it?
Yeah, somewhere around that.
Yeah, like
I thought it was 2003.
No, bro, it came out before Strike Back. That was 2001.
Oh,
Clerks was 2004. Clerks 2 was 2004.
Yeah, you're right.
I think it was 99 or 98. But like, 20 plus years later, I still want to buy that film if it drops in any way. Like, it's they know a way to do it, but I feel like with a cinema release also, like Kevin Smith made money from Dogma back in the 90s, obviously, early 2000s. If he re-releases that movie on Blu-ray, he's making money on it a second time. Mm-hmm. Or like if he does a remaster, because that's another thing.
I think that's the thing with like Clerks, because it's such a cult classic film and stuff. He still makes money off Clerks every single day.
Yeah. Oh, bro, like
anything Clerks, he makes money off. Like,
bro,
it's good stuff.
That's literally where take the Power Ranger actors for example. They got nothing back in the day. Haim Saban's there loaded, but like Netflix still exists. There's still the cons. They're still making money on something they haven't been in for the past 21 years.
Yeah,
like some have come back, but David Yost never
how much
has.
They make it from conventions as well.
Exactly,
right? Because of like ticket prices and stuff like that. Like, I know some conventions that are like minimum £20 to get into, right? And there's like, there's like 1,000 people going, so it's like 20 grand there, and like sometimes there's only like 3 people at a panel.
Well, that's another thing that COVID has screwed up, because obviously they have booths. They make money off autographs and photos and merch.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a really risky scenario. I feel like, because obviously not to stray too far from the main topic, I feel like the fact that they're leaving it till 2021, fair enough. But the fact that they've just got a finished film just sat there,
yeah, no, that is thing. But I think the cinema experience is so important. I think to initial releases.
I may have enjoyed Scoob more if it was in cinema. I told you that. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Maybe even Bloodshot as well. Like,
we'd just be looking around trying to figure out who in the audience was Dick Dastardly.
Bro, there's just suspicious to see a guy next to us with a trash go. Well, that's the thing, because you're in the Batcave. We got to travel far for the cinema, so we want to make it count.
Yeah, you got to make it count. Got to go through a waterfall. I mean, nothing. So. So yeah, that's the thing. Have you got another piece of news? Have you got like one more or two more? Because we'll
I got one more. So the Avengers game, they finally announced that the PS4 exclusive that they announced a long time ago is going to be Spider-Man.
Nice.
So it's evident now that Spider-Man is clearly a PS4 guy, but it's not going to be the Insomniac one. He's just going to be Spider-Man in general.
Right.
So we don't know if it's going to be a different voice actor. We don't know if it's going to be like maybe modelled off one of the past actors. If it's going to be, because usually, like, imagine they just bring back Tobey Maguire, like, because he voiced the original Spider-Man games.
Oh, yeah.
But we're getting Spider-Man. Anyone who's on PS4, sorry to anyone who's on the Xbox, but PS4
well, I mean, the new
PS5.
generations of consoles are coming out, and no one will be getting Avengers on PS4. They'll all be getting it on PS5.
Well, this is the thing. Apparently, if you get it on PS4, you can get it on PS5 for free. Like, I think there's literally a thing they're doing where, like, if you got PS4 games, you can just transfer them.
I think that's a little bit pointless for people who are buying it, though, right? They're going to be buying like the next generation of consoles, so most likely, if there are enough things on like the PS4 that are not going to be on the Xbox One, like that's going to be a massive selling point as well, right? So.
Well, that's the thing. Well, it's next. No, is it next month or is it? I think next month is when the game comes out. I really want to play it. There's a beta coming out at the end of, as this pod's going up, a week today. So it's the day we go away, actually. But yeah, there's a beta coming out, and if you play the beta, then you get like free like pickaxes in Fortnite or something.
Right.
But yeah, I really wanna play the game really badly, but like I don't know if I wanna, because I'll probably get the PS5 around Christmas time. I really don't want to wait.
It's a shame Blockbuster isn't around anymore. You could just rent the game.
Bro, imagine, bro. Well, again, that's the thing. Like, obviously, if it was like where I work, I can rent it for 2 weeks, pretty much. But yeah, obviously, we have to get the game first.
Yeah.
But it's more of a case of Spider-Man PS4. I got that on release day, and I played it all weekend, right? And I finished it. But with Avengers, it's going to come out, then I'm going to have to wait a few months if I'm getting on PS5.
Yeah.
Because originally I was going to pre-order it for my last birthday, because it was going to come out in May.
Does it have online, like, multiplayer stuff?
It does. It does have online multiplayer capabilities. Yeah, man,
that's so worth getting on PS5 instead of PS4.
And especially if Spider-Man's going to be in it. You know Morgan's copying Spider-Man now instead of, what did he say before? Was it Iron Man he wanted?
Oh, yeah.
You know he's grabbing that. I'll be Cap. Sam be Thor, you be Iron Man, bro. We'll
Sam
have a good
Thor?
time. Bro, that's what he said he wanted.
Mate, he didn't even know that Thor's real name is Donald Blake.
Oh, bro, wrong. Like, if you go, it's another bit of news sprinkle on top. Hawkeye has also been added now.
Ah, okay.
He wasn't originally, but now he is, and he's bald.
No, I joke. I'd be willing to play anyone, but I did say originally the Hulk.
Hulk, yeah, there we are then. That's what I mean. Like, now that Spider-Man's been added and Hawkeye, I just feel like there's more, because obviously there was always like multiple characters. Like Hank Pym is in it. What's her? I forget her name. Miss Marvel. Yeah, what's her real name though? It's something.
I can't remember.
It's not. It's Camilla Carr or Kamala. Yeah, something like that. Kamala Carr. I don't know. But yeah, they're gonna be in. Like, there's gonna be lots of characters. But I mean, just knowing that like one of us can be Spider-Man, one of us can be like, and it's just the fact it's multi, because Spider-Man on PS4 isn't, and I really hope that either in the Miles game or in the Spider-Man PS4 2, it's still gonna be PS5, but the second sequel, I just really hope there's some sort of multiverse Spider-Verse feature where you can play online, because it'd be so cool. And I feel like with the Avengers game, online multiplayer is gonna be it's gonna make the game so much better.
Yeah. I'm excited for that game. We'll play it on PS5. I think PS5 is going to be the one because of the multiplayer stuff like that. There's no point in getting a game that you're gonna then also want to play on the newer generation console. So yeah, that's cool. I only have one more piece of news. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, not just because I want to get into the thing, but also there's not that much to say about it. But it is interesting. Have you ever played any of the Splinter Cell games?
I have not.
They're sort of like stealth type spy sort of games, but they're really, really good, and they've had like a cult following for years. Now, there was a live action movie in the works, and Ubisoft was attaching Tom Hardy to the role of the of the main character in Splinter Cell, Sam Fisher, I think he is. So Sam Fisher was going to be played by Tom Hardy in a live-action movie, but that project has now gone inactive. But a new project to do with Splinter Cell, it has been in the works for a while, and now it's been announced that it is happening, is Splinter Cell is getting an animated series in the works at Netflix, and the writer of it is the same person who wrote John Wick.
Nice.
So,
bro, that's...
It sounds like cool people are attached to a cool project.
Yeah, it's like you got a cool game, which is Splinter Cell, which obviously says like stealth, whatever.
Yeah,
and then a guy who made a kick-ass film about a guy who is, he's a hitman basically,
Yeah.
That sounds...
Well, this is the thing. Like, the Splinter Cell guy, Sam Fisher, he's like a sort of John Wickish character. He's like a mercenary, a spy, like he's Sam Fisher. He's like a legend in his own universe. So, you know, I think that's a perfect person to put on, right?
It's beyond, bro. Like it's like we said earlier about Kevin Smith directing CW shows and the Flash stuff.
Yeah.
Why not help? Why are people so resilient to let people who know the source material or know that style of movie to direct the movie? Like, why is it always got to be someone who has made films in the past? Like, it can never be someone who... Well, obviously, these both cases have made films, but it's never someone who is very passionate about the project. It's always someone who has directorial credits. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. It's never... It's always based on the previous work. It's the same as any industry when you're first getting in there. It's an industry that wants you to come in young, but also have 20 years of experience in a job that they won't give you. So, you know, you've got to sort of fight your own way and stuff like that, which is why me as a filmmaker, I know the job I want is to become a director, and you don't become a runner, and you don't become, you know, a production assistant, or you don't become this, or this, a gaffer, a cameraman, in order to become a director, because you need to know how those roles work, but that doesn't make you the best director in the world. If you know how to tell a story, you know how to direct actors, you know the skills in order to keep a ship running, because the director is sort of really high up on the food chain. Yes, you need to know about these things, but you don't need to be active and know all the skills in order to... You don't need like 20 years of experience as a cameraman to be a director.
Yeah, right? It's like if you want to be like if you want to be a cameraman, right? If you start as an assistant to the cameraman, maybe, you know, you'd be like, oh yeah, you've like in a state of emergency, oh you see what he does every day 24/7, you know what to do it. Yeah, I do. Okay, do it. But like for the director, it's like, oh, you've seen him, you know, direct. Now you can do it. Go. Like you just need to do it. You can't just be there for it.
Which is the thing. Like, I think, like with our filmmaking journeys, like specifically, I know you still are sort of trying to figure out where you want to go specifically, but I know you are really creative and you like to be involved in a lot of aspects of filmmaking.
Yeah, I want to be an on-set person that has, you know, that has effect to what happens.
Yeah, you wanna have a big effect on the on how everything's made, which is why I've always said that you'd be a really good producer as well. But I also see directing for you, because you've directed a lot of films that are fan films as well. But for me, with directing, I'm not going to start off as a runner on someone else's projects and stuff like that in order to become a director. I'm going to direct my own films with whatever budget I can scrape together in order to show people that I am a competent director at short film festivals and, you know, places in which I can get my stuff seen until someone recognizes me as a writer or a director. And that's just the way I'm going with it. It's a risk, because technically I could get into a really nice high-paying job if I work my way up in the industry and try and do that. But realistically, what I want to do is direct, and I don't think I'm going to be happy doing jobs that aren't that.
Yeah, exactly. And especially because nowadays the industry is a lot different to what... Not so much what people want to make, but like take Corridor as an example. They've tried so long to be in the industry to the point where they've now just gone, we're just going to carry on doing what we're doing because we're still filmmaking, but we can do what we want.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like Corridor's a specific thing for me as well, in which I think they are brilliant when it comes to how they make things, how they plan it, what equipment they use, the fact that they're so lightweight and they don't wait around, 20 minutes in order to set the cameras up in a new place. They did that video in which they're like, this is our perfect camera setup and we can just click it on the go and we can set up a new shot in 5 minutes and we don't have to have people waiting around for 40 minutes to do a new shot, which does actually happen in the film industry. If you know in the film industry, if you've worked on any set or you've worked on any continuous running set as well, there are times where the actors will sweat through the makeup waiting for the next shot to be
I
set
always
up.
say, and I'm pretty sure I've said it on the podcast, I never forget I was with, not with as in like personally chatting with him, like, but I was in a room with the guy who, he plays Big Al on Stella, and he's been in loads of other stuff, and he said to all of us, if you ever want to become an actor, just know you never get paid to act, you always get paid to wait. Because that's how long it takes to just start up a scene, to switch the set, to change camera position, to say change camera model, to change, you know, anything on set or anything with the production crew.
Yeah, and like that's another thing of like, realistically, you need to think about these things when you're coming into the film industry. Like, Corridor is such a cool company, and like they can work as a VFX house, or they can work as a production company, and they can work as these so many different things, but they have streamlined processes in which the film industry just doesn't use, and secondly aren't ready for. And I think that's because the people at the top, like the directors and the studio executives and the people that are, you know, hearing their pitches for the films and hearing how they're going to take these films and make them with like half of the equipment that, you know, they're used to using and making and stuff, and they just sort of don't believe it, and they can't really get their foot in the door the way they want to. I think when there are the next generation of directors and producers and executives, we will know now what this new equipment does. There are so many useless rules on film sets that we follow because they have just always been there.
Yeah, and maybe they would have had some use back at the start, but even some have no real use from the get-go.
Yeah, they definitely have like no real use. Like there's a thing in which like a story I've heard from someone on set, which was like, he's a gaffer, right? And they said before, this was in the past, they couldn't use anything but black gaffer tape. Because there was like a problem with one, actors were like focusing too much on the gaffer tape, like if there was like shiny objects around, like actors are cats or something, and also that it would reflect light, and it would have problems with the cameras or stuff like that. And this is something that people who didn't know anything about cameras but were filmmakers back in the day, like a long time back in the day, this is like really believed, and it's still used to this day. But it has no difference. And if you put silver gaffer tape on stuff, it's easier to spot where the wires are when you're doing cleanup or you're putting more new stuff down. So it would be better to not have the black gaffer tape. But because of this stupid thing in the past, they still do it.
But it's like the amount of people nowadays, nowadays, and I suppose it's kind of always been this way to a sense, but it's pretty much now you start in theatre or you start in short films, and then you build up to like movies. Like most actors have started in some form of on-stage show, but
a lot of them do, yeah.
But the thing is that the motto of anything that's live is the show must go on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if there is tape of all things distracting you, nowadays that's not gonna stop it. Like, no one's gonna stop being like, oh, the tape's distracting me. They're just gonna ignore it.
It wouldn't happen anyway. And the other reason, like that reason is just completely nonsensical and everyone laughs about. But like the other reason that would affect the light of the cameras, and like it would be reflective surfaces, because obviously gaffers also use the lighting systems and the rigs and they set it all up.
But it's like, well, hold on.
It's just it's a complete myth, and it was just used by gaffers to be lazy.
I wear glasses. Does that mean that if I'm directing something, I come with my glasses because I'll reflect somewhere?
Yeah, no, it's complete idiocracy, because Steven Spielberg wears glasses.
Exactly, like, bro. The lenses of other cameras.
Yeah, it just wouldn't reflect either. If your cameras are in front of the gaffer tape, how is it something behind it going to affect the light sensitivity of the lens in front of it? It just doesn't work. It's simple physics. It wouldn't happen anyway. But it's just stupid things like that in the past that. Sorry. Now they use black gaffer tape, and they only use black gaffer tape for a reason that, you know, doesn't really need to exist. I'm not sure if that's on all productions, but that was just a production in the past that like I was part of, and I asked him, definitely, like, I keep on stepping on the wires and I'm afraid of breaking them because they're black. Is there any reason why like we use black gaffer tape instead of other? And he was like, in fact there is, and he told me that story. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I asked, am I going to break any of these wires by stepping on them? He was like, nah, dude, they're all sturdy. Like, if you could, jump on them and like for an hour and they would just, they wouldn't break. So,
but that's the thing. That's the thing with lights, like massive lights with massive cables running through to a massive generator. Just get a couple LED lights with some extra batteries. And you're set for like a good
honestly,
a good
like
day.
battery powered stuff, like because films happen the way they do currently, they have this generator in order to power all the things that they have. But if they actually followed their shot list and knew exactly what sort of light, because it's not even the fact that the generator is needed for these big lights or anything like that. You can power these big lights with batteries, like no matter what. Like most lights, because you can only give off so much light from like 56 Kelvin bulbs and stuff. Like you can only give off so much light anyway. So if they had the exact shot lists planned out, or even more, they could run everything off battery power. They just don't, because it used to be a petrol generator and now it's a generator. Even though we have the advancements and the technology in the future, because films have been made this way this entire time, they just keep making them that way because they don't want to break the formula.
This year, I've gotten a lot more involved with other people in the fan film community, right? And one guy in particular is a guy called Brandon, and I was talking to him this morning because it was like 11 a.m. No, it was 10 a.m. for me, but he was up like really late because of a shoot, and it was 5 a.m. and they were shooting in some shop. Well, obviously time difference. And it was a Spider-Man fan film. And he had a full-on cinema camera. Like, there was, like, 3 monitors where they were, like, it was monitoring, like, multicam setups. There was lights. There was everything. Like, it was cinema quality, right? No cables. All the lights were LEDs. The camera, I don't know which, it might have just been a black magic, but I'm not sure. Like, there was no big cables running from that into anything. They were just in a shop that they were obviously able to use, and it looked great.
Yeah.
And it was like, again, I wouldn't say it's something that you would typically see on an actual cinema screen, because even with cinema cameras...
That's the thing, right? It's never about the camera. It's always about the cinematographer. The reason things look a certain way in TVs and movies, the reason, like, you have, like, a shot of... a car going down a street and you can follow that car, which in real life you wouldn't be able to follow the car because you can't move as fast as the car while you're tracking it and stuff like that. The reason you get these like shots in cinema that you can't get in real life is not because they're using a better camera than you or better light or anything like that. It's because they're using a crane operator, because there's a guy that knows how to use a crane.
Yeah.
Like, it's always about the people who are qualified and what they're qualified in and who you are using for your set. Films are not made by cameras. Films are not made by lenses. They're made by people using cameras.
So it's about the operator, not the...
Yeah, it's all on the operator. They can make something look cinematic as long as you tell them exactly what you want. They will use the techniques that they've been learning their entire life or their entire career in order to get you that shot that looks good on screen. Cinematographers know what looks good on screen. Directors are telling you the story and how they want this to be portrayed, and obviously the cinematographer and the director will speak closely about how they want this shot to look, but the cinematographer ultimately is the person that's going to get that shot the way the director wants it to look, because he knows exactly how to get that screen worthy.
It's something that people underestimate, that everyone's like, oh, I can't do that, because like I had a friend a while ago, back when I was like trying to be more of like a YouTuber who did like gaming stuff and everything, and he really wanted to do it, but he was like, I haven't got a camera. Like, I didn't have a camera, bro. I used my phone.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I can't do it because I haven't got a tiny camera. It was like, bro, what am I literally vlogging on as we speak about this conversation?
Yeah.
Like,
and phone cameras are 10 times better than the cameras you would see Citizen Kane being made with.
Absolute, like, oh my god, like,
you know what I mean? So it's like
the new Huawei phone. I think it's the Mate 20. No, I got to be completely wrong. But the new Huawei phone, that camera is 10 times better than the camera they're using Clerks. More than 10 times better.
Yeah, I would say so as well. I would definitely say so. And they had to shoot in black and white in clothes and stuff like that. You don't have that limitation anymore. Like
exactly, that's a stylistic. That's a choice you get.
Yeah, it's a choice now. It's a stylistic choice. Whereas though, when Kevin Smith came with the option, like, you can shoot in color, but it's going to cost a lot more, and you might have to change the scope of your film. It was like, no, I'll just shoot in black and white because it's cheaper, and then I get to keep all the things that I want in it. And then eventually that worked well as a stylistic choice because obviously it looks as if it's the security cameras within the store. So yeah, that's the thing. It's the film industry, to me, is not archaic. It's just refusing to change until new directors and new producers and new executives take the roles, right? And eventually, when I hopefully become a director, I will have like people like Corridor to learn from, to know, right, this is how I want to make my film. The film industry tells me it's going to cost me 50 mil. How much will it actually cost if we're using all of the things that, can save time, can save money? Because time is money in the film industry. You're paying someone a day rate, but how many days that works is dependent on thing. If you're waiting 40 minutes every time you want to set up a new shot, right? Whereas though if you have a camera operator that can switch camera setups in an instant like that, and like, you never have to wait between shots. You can have your actors just constantly on set acting, not waiting around and stuff like that. You could turn a 5-day shoot into a 1-day shoot. And that's 4 days of pay that you don't have to pay these people.
Don't get me wrong, right? If you want to make something that's cinema quality, it's not going to be cheap. Like, it's not going to be cheap.
No.
By no means is it going to be what the industry's charging. Like, granted, if you need to build a set in a street in New York, or if you need to really go big, the money needs to be there. But
yeah,
if you're doing,
but this is what I mean. There is always
open
ways around these things. Like, I just want to bring up the fact that, say you want to be in a street in New York, and you can't shoot in New York, right? And it's like, oh, I could green screen myself, but that's not really going to look cinematic because I don't have the best VFX and stuff like that. And these are all budget filmmaker problems, right? But as soon as you hit Hollywood, if you wanted to green screen yourself into New York, it's fully possible. They made The Mandalorian in a room.
In a room with, it's not even a green screen, it's with screens. And
they made it in a room with game technology. They used the Unreal Engine, stuff that you use on just like video games. They made the cameras move, and then the backgrounds, they move with the Unreal Engine as if you're in a real environment. So they made a virtual environment, or like multiple virtual environments, for the Mandalorian to be in, and the camera moves, and then like this game knowledge just instantly tracks it, and it's such good high quality. Now we can do like 4K gaming, which means we can do 4K green screen, which means we can do 4K whatever the hell we want. We can film an entire show in a room.
In a room where when you turn the camera, the scenery moves in the way it should if it was real life.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, it blows my mind. But talking about shows, there is something that we need to get onto, which is Stargirl. I do love these chats that we have, but I am desperate to talk about the last episode I just watched.
So we watched, was it 8, 9, 10, 11, or was it 9, 10, 11, 12?
8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay. So, wow.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. We didn't watch it together this time. I had watched the first two, which was 8, 9. And I was like, I said to Joel, I was like, no, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
Then the last two, my lord.
My lord, indeed. Yeah, they were great.
Very, very good.
Super good. So let's go over the first two episodes, because we watched 4 in general, so we'll just go over them 2 by 2. So the first 2 episodes we had, last time we saw Stargirl, she'd just been beaten up. That was the last time we talked about it on the pod. By the Dragon King's daughter.
Yeah, which is like the popular girl.
Yeah, the Dragon King's daughter stuff to me is less interesting. I don't like her as a character. I like Dragon King as a character, and like when you're supposed to feel bad for her when he's a bad dad, I don't. I just don't like her as a character, and I'm like, yes, please keep her locked away. So yeah, I think that's where it sort of like for me, like in the first 2 episodes, I was a little bit taken out of it, but I have 2 comments I have to make about the whole thing in general, and I will make them after I've reviewed the two different 2-episode segments that we're doing. But the first 2 episodes, they were okay. The second of them was a lot better. The first was very, high school stuff like that, things that I can relate to but can't relate to in the same way. It's not really targeted towards me, those specific parts, but there's enough superheroing in which I like it. Second episode was really good. Well, the last 2 episodes were amazing.
I just want to point out as well, why, because like The Flash, right, it's about, these forensic scientists, but they also have just life issues, right?
Yeah.
Stargirl, the life issues take place in school pretty much, but it's like the American school system and the way it works is a lot different to what it is in Britain. So like I can't relate to any, like they're like, oh my god, this bully is doing this. It's like, yeah, I've been bullied before, but not like that. I haven't had milkshake tipped down my back and been called a loser. Like, it's like the most.
Yeah. I feel like it's more visceral in the UK, like bullying in general. It's like not like something so superficial. Like you throw a milkshake on someone, they're in the UK, they're gonna throw that milkshake straight back at you, right? No one's gonna just stand there and take that in the UK, and then a fight will start, and that's like how bullying is in the UK. Is like either fights or like you get like ridiculed.
Yeah,
but in America, it's like someone throws a slushie at you or whatever, and you just stand there and take it.
And like the entirety of the school laugh at you.
Yeah, like I don't know whether that's American TV or that's how it works in real life, but that's just so silly to me.
It's just weird, bro. And it's like in Sex Education, it's a British show, but American culture, so it kind of works better. But yeah, that's the one complaint I have about Stargirl as a whole, is that there's a lot of school stuff which I don't mind, because obviously you got the janitor, which we'll get into.
Oh my god!
But
yes.
yeah, but there's a lot which is very, Americanism.
Yeah.
I feel like that's why people, they try to make their own in-betweeners as opposed to the British one, because the schools are just different in general. I think that's always like a hard thing for me when like looking at schools when it's an American show, because they're just different.
There's something general. I've been bursting to say, and I should keep it for my review of the last 2 episodes. Well, not the last 2 episodes, these last 2 episodes that we've just watched. But I just have to say it outright. The best actors in this show are the janitor that plays Sir Justin and Brainwave Jr. Jesus Christ, are they good actors?
Bro, I didn't want to say it because, again, you said you wanted to leave it, but I'm going to say 2 names and we'll get to it when we get to it. But Henry and Sam, they are 2 characters that I feel very oppositely about. Bro, and Pat, my boy. Bro, you're just lucky I'm not busy. Oh, bro.
Oh,
what a man.
Mate.
What a man.
What a guy. Right, okay. All right, let's just talk about the last 2 episodes. The first 2 were right.
Yeah, they were decent.
So the last episode we watched was the Pat, my boy. What was the one before that? It was
the one where Henry ends up dying at the end, and also they break into the cave and.
Dude, bro, all the Henry stuff. The way Henry's voice quivered, man. Oh my god, was there so much emotion through his visceral acting. Henry, right, obviously, first of all, changed my complete opinion about a character, which doesn't happen often. So bravo to you. Man, did I hate that man, and now do I love him.
I despised him, right? And it was the same with the fact, because obviously his father had lost his memory, yeah?
Yeah.
And just... Do you know how you can tell? Do you know what made it better? Because not only the audience, well, I can only speak for us too, but the audience are like, oh my god, I've changed my views on him, yeah?
Yeah.
Even, I forget her name, she's the cat woman, the cat
girl.
girl.
Yolanda Wildcat.
Yeah. Even she broke down in tears when the rocks fell on him. Like, you feel like you've... We feel like we've changed our opinions when realistically everyone has, because it was Courtney first, but then it was just everyone, because obviously
like Rick shouts at him before that happens as well. Like Rick's like, dude, come on, because he wants to save him, and like there was that point where he chucked Brainwave with his mind powers. He chucked Brainwave over
in the cafeteria.
At that point Rick like changed his mind, and then when he saved Courtney and stood to fight his dad, like that's when Yolanda changed her mind and stuff. And just, yeah, as he was proving himself to everyone, and we were like, man, I love this guy. They go and chuck rocks on him.
Bro, he apologized to Yolanda before, bro.
And
right
it wasn't
before.
even him.
I know, bro. It was just so unbelievable. Because, like, when we found out they were maybe cousins, which maybe we don't even know anymore, because, you know, Starman was Mary's brother, but is Starman really Sam? I don't think so. But it's like, bro. Okay, so yeah, that I forget what song was played at the end, but bro, that made me shiver up. That it was so like hitting. We then get this bloke coming back called Sam, who, you know, as far as we know right now,
like
Stargirl's dad, right?
Yeah.
But as soon as he brought up the necklaces, I sat there and I went, I bet you they are now, for some reason, or like I bet you he thinks he can get some money out of them. I didn't necessarily think they were worth a lot, but I reckon he thinks he can get money out of them, and that's what he's here for, and that's what he wants.
It's a trope as well. This is the thing, right? They executed a trope in this movie that you could easily be a cliche, but they just did it well, right?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things of like someone that you desperately want to like love you, or someone you desperately want to like you, or you desperately want to like, doing something underhanded that you spot, but then like just go along with anyway. And like they do that with Courtney and her dad, but that character is never stuck up for. They didn't just break the cliche, they punched the cliche in its goddamn face, and that cliche was lucky that Pat was busy.
Bro, it's just like he was like, listen, if you need to scream at me, do so, because obviously that's what he's always been used to. Like, she's never really liked him, but he was just like, just so you know, I'm here. Like, I made it, you're like, that's the dad she needs. She cries in his chest, and he's like, this fucking man has just hurt my daughter. That's what happened, right? He goes out, he stops him, he's like, bro, don't come back. He was like, oh, I never planned to, bro. And by the way, your wife's looking pretty good. Better when I was with him. And I was like, bro, if you don't put, and before I even finished my thought, bro, whacked him, bro. He fell. He dropped.
Yeah.
And just bro, you're lucky I was busy, and he just walks away.
Oh, bro, it was such a good moment.
It was so good. I'll tell you this, right, as well. Well, actually, no. I was going to say, because it's on the same topic, it's not. It's actually something that, not that I didn't like, but I didn't understand. There was the whole thing about the mother finding out about Stargirl, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand because, like, they were obviously, Mike was like distraught. You know, he was going through another divorce with his family. Generally, we're not, you know, but know, losing a mother again, so on and so forth. I just didn't see where the transition was between her not liking her being Stargirl and her wanted to leave Blue Valley, and suddenly her being okay with it, because it just got to a point where
it's when she realizes her boss is actually a villain. Like, she doesn't believe it at first.
But it was before that, because obviously, you know, she translated the recording, but I didn't... It was before that they were like, she was talking to Pat, because Pat was back in the house with them, and bro, when Mike comes in and is like, oh my god, is that really Courtney's old man, and are you getting the divorce? And he just shouts at him, and he's like, we're having a private conversation, can you leave us alone? And then he apologised, and he's like, you know, it's just blah, blah, blah. And then Mike's like, yeah. And then Pat smiles, and he goes, sure it is. And then leaves. Oh, my, bro. Bro.
That kid actor as well is a good kid actor.
Bro, he is good, you know, and I just can't get over how the characters, not so much of the characters that are affecting each other, because, like, you'd hope they have that anyway, but just how each character's emotions are taking, you know, place. Like, yeah, you know, we can leave Blue Valley, but then there's a divorce. Who does the divorce affect? The parents, but also massively affects Mike. What does it also affect? Courtney being Stargirl. What does it also affect? Courtney and Pat's relationship, because they started to grow really fond of each other. Like, it's like the entire family is getting. They didn't do a thing where they're like, oh no, but I just found out my sister's Stargirl. Now I'm gonna be sad. Like, it's not that. It's a genuine family issue that he's like, this has fucked us over, and it's. I can't, bro. Literally, I was worried. I was worried for the show because the 2 episodes that we started with, I was like, these aren't the greatest.
These aren't the episodes I was looking for.
Yeah, but then the 2, bro, were just absolutely
Mate, the one with her dad
insane.
is the best episode out
of
the
is,
bunch.
Bro.
And
then obviously that's what we get.
I'm not doing the thing
Justin
where it's like,
well.
the last episode I watched was the best episode of the season. It's not that one. It's just basically that was the best episode.
Bro, we get Pat's revelations, yeah. We get, is it Justin, the janitor? Was it Austin?
Yeah. We get Sir Justin.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand that scene where he was on about Stripesy, but he was just there, like, as if he was in heaven, silhouetted. Like, I didn't really understand the thing being that, but that was fine.
It's because he was her. He saw the stars and stripes.
Yeah,
on the like American flag that was waving in the air. So he was then looking at the air, but then he replaced the American flag with Stripesy. So
yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it was a weird shot,
bro. When he asks when she asked for her parents to come down to help out, like with her regaining the powers of the staff, and then he comes down and says, "Our queen has returned."
Oh, mate. Oh, you know what? That was almost a good moment, as when he amazingly acts, and also the man is from Britain. Do you know why? Because he's not doing an English accent, he's doing a northern accent.
Yeah,
so you
bro.
know he's from Britain. So yeah, bruh, one of the best acting moments throughout the entire show, and it's done by this guy, and it's when he's breaking down in front of Stripesy, and he's like, they took everything that I was, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy, I want to cry for this guy.
Bro, that scene as well, where he's like, I can't remember the exact quote, but it's like, I've been falling apart, but he looks at but he's like, he's gesturing at Stripesy's robot, and he's like, but you've been doing some of it, you know what I mean? He's like kind of just like really happy that he's looking what he's looking at.
He says, even though I'm beyond my, even though I'm past my days, you have built yourself a magnificent piece of armor.
Yeah.
And then he's looking at the Stripes robot. Oh, bro, what? Oh, just amazing stuff. And the 7 soldiers of victory, is it? Oh, just...
Yeah, bro. But there's 8 of them.
Yeah, but there's 8 of them. I think that's just because, obviously, Stripesy is a sidekick.
Yeah.
And, he's I think in the original 7 Soldiers, Star Spangled Kid probably was in it, but I don't know about Stripesy.
I've got a question for you then. Well, actually no, I'll ask you this question in a sec. Something I want to complain about. The waitress came up and was like, "Oh, sorry, we've only got 1 banana left for the banana split." Obviously, it ended up with them, being all cute together, yeah.
Yeah.
But there was 2 bananas on that banana split. What do you mean there was only 1? What do you mean there was only 1 left, bro? There was 2 bananas on that split. Don't tell me there wasn't.
Well, you're right, but also maybe the banana split on the menu specifically says 2 bananas.
Yeah. So just excuse the pun. Split the bananas. So that is enough. Oh, I don't know. But either way, yeah, this is what I was going to ask you.
Bro, if I ordered a banana split, right, and it said you get 2 bananas and whipped cream with it, and then it gave me 1 banana. Then
1 dessert sausage.
Yeah, 1 dessert. Oh mate, 1 dessert sausage. Then I'd be fuming.
Okay, I'll give you that. Do you
I don't
think?
really like bananas.
Do you think that they're gonna? And I hope they don't. Right. But do you think they're gonna reveal the true identity of Starman? And I hope that when I say I hope that
Pemberton, right?
Well, yeah, but as in. Do you think they're going to turn around and be like, actually, that wasn't his dad. The real dad is Starman. Like, I'd rather not. I'd rather keep the dad as Sam, just as a stick, and then.
No, I think the Sam being a dick and Sam being a dad. I think that's the way the show's going to go. If they then give us another twist, I mean. Because
I just like the idea now of her being her own
things,
hero,
but it also doesn't help them either. So I'd just rather keep them where they are now.
Because, obviously, Pat would have obviously taken one look at him and been like, that's not my friend.
Well, yeah, that's quite clearly not Sylvester Pemberton, because Sylvester Pemberton is played by what's his name from Community, Joel McHale.
But do you think we're ever gonna see him in, like, if they don't do a flashback or don't go back in time for whatever reason?
Starman's in the staff.
Do you think so? Do you reckon that's what the glow is?
I think that's what the glow is.
Not the glow, because obviously Starman has the glow, but, like, you know. Like,
yeah.
Why it's still active?
Well, Starman didn't because this isn't the original Starman. Obviously, it's the Star-Spangled Kid who has taken over the role of Starman. So it's not any of the Starman from the Starman comics. It's none of them. None of them are the Starman that we've got here. We've got the Star-Spangled Kid who has become Starman, which I don't think we've had in the comics ever. They normally are two separate heroes. I think Sylvester Pemberton may have been Starman before, but I don't know if he was Star-Spangled Kid. Either way, there's something about the story that isn't quite the same. But basically, Sylvester Pemberton in this universe did not create the staff, right?
Yeah.
And like it works the way it works when it works. And it worked for Star-Spangled Kid when he became Starman. And then he's died, and now the staff works for Courtney. I think that obviously he's had this thing of like when he's dying, he's like, this staff can only work for someone who's worthy. Maybe he is the person that gets to choose who is worthy, which means his spirit is still in the staff.
Yeah,
I think that could be a way, because the staff is definitely sentient. Because that's the only thing that does me in, is the fact that the staff tried to go fight people alone.
Well, that's the thing, and like when they got captured in the episode before the final one we watched.
Oh, I love when Yolanda just ripped the cage apart. That was good.
Yeah, just ripped it apart, and she couldn't get it working because obviously Stargirl had improvised, and she just used a regular spear off the wall.
Yeah.
I can just say that entire fight scene was dope. Like that was just so cool.
So
but
cool. When Brainwave Jr., Henry was like throwing people across the room as well, I was like, oh my dude.
Yeah, bro.
Also, right, because it's the CW universe, if we get any universe that has Barry Allen as the Flash and it's a parallel universe, but we get like the blonde Barry Allen, because I've this entire time throughout the podcast, some of you who have watched the other ones might know, I'm creating in my head the perfect CW Flash universe in which it's more comic accurate.
Yeah.
So I want like a version of Grant Gustin that has blue eyes and blonde hair, who is in like a Flash suit that has like the full yellow streaks all through the costume and stuff. If we are to get a Wally West, please make it the actor that's Henry.
Bro, imagine. Bro, please. I'll say no more.
Yeah.
Literally right. Again, don't want to stereotype, but the man is evidently ginger.
He is evidently ginger, and also an amazing actor, and also
an
really
amazing actor, bro.
The exact thing I'm looking for in a Wally West. I feel like he could be quippy. I feel like he could be angry. I feel like he would just be so cool. So like, and he's in the CW universe, and we've seen multicasting through multi-universes. Like the Atom is Superman, right?
Yeah.
So that means Brainwave could also, in a parallel universe, have not been Brainwave's kid, or we do a complete 180, not on what I've just said, but on who I originally cast, because I originally say Tom Welling can stay as Eobard Thawne, but Brainwave as Eobard Thawne. Oh, man.
Bro, that's who he looks like.
He does, doesn't he?
So at first I was thinking a bit Colin Firth, like maybe that's who he looked like to me. But yes, bro, just with a thinner face, Eobard Thawne.
Yeah. Oh, what a cool little crossover thing that would be. Mate, just hire me. CW, hire me. I'll sort something out for you. We'll do a really cool thing.
Just why aren't the fans trusted with it, bro? Like I just don't get it.
Imagine being in the writers' room for the Flash, though. Imagine they like. You work on the CW's Flash.
Imagine, bro.
Okay, so let's give our ratings, because these episodes were bangers. But overall, we're giving our ratings for the. Let's do first of all the 4 episodes in general, and then the show overall so far. So will I watch more? Of course, I'll watch more. This is a damn right 6. 1 because I have to watch it for the podcast anyway, but it's a 6 for me because it'll be a 5 because I have to watch it for the podcast, but also I want to watch it, so it's a 6. And that's based on these episodes because I want to finish the season. The season in general, will I watch more? As in season 2? That is a 7. So far, the whole season has really impressed me. I super like Stargirl. The VFX are way better than some of the other CW shows. It looks very cinematic. I like the storylines. The high school stuff isn't targeted towards me, but also it never gets in the way of the story, which is why I don't mind it. And then overall, how much did I enjoy these? I will give it a 4 out of 5 for how much I enjoyed these, because I enjoyed the last 2 episodes a lot more than I enjoyed the first 2. And then the overall season, I will give it a 5.
Yeah, so will I watch more? Absolutely, straight 5. The only reason I say 5 instead of 6 is because as much as I definitely want to watch more, I know that if it went for the podcast, I wouldn't find the time to watch it. I wouldn't have the time to watch it. But yeah, just in general, what I'd rate the show, I'll give it a solid 4. I know I think I said 5 last time, but
those 2 episodes a little bit lower.
Yeah, there's definitely been, even though like those 2 episodes kind of bored me. Like there has been episodes that's better than others. Do you know what I mean?
I think also that the reason that it's not a complete banger for me is just because it's not a criticism against the show, because obviously the way they pace it is really good, because otherwise I wouldn't watch it, I'd be bored. But I'd pace that show a lot differently. Like when we had the reveal of Sir Justin being the Shining Knight, and the fact that he had his Excalibur and his broom holder things, I would have capitalized on his story straight away. Then,
yeah, as opposed to a few episodes, like
instead of in a few episodes later. And that one episode, that was the one that like sort of let us down, because it was only really one episode that wasn't as up to par as the rest of the season. One episode I would have replaced with his storyline.
I won't lie to you. When I was watching the episode, I accidentally clicked like halfway through I didn't do it on accident, but just to check, like, is this the past episodes I watched? Because again, the way we watch all the episodes are labeled like backwards.
Yeah.
So like I just clicked on like halfway through to check, and I just seen, not even halfway through, but I seen him when he was on the ranch, you know, in the daylight, and I thought, I thought he was Courtney's dad. I thought, oh my god, that's probably his dad, because you know he's got the light hair, whatever. Because I just completely forgot what he looked like, because he was in that one episode, and then they just ignored him, and then brought him back. So like, I just completely.
I definitely would have changed the pacing like that, like following on from, you know, Courtney being in the hospital and stuff, and then there was the side story of like a lot to do with Cindy, and I don't really like Cindy in this show. It's not that she's like a terrible character. I understand her motivations. I understand the actor. She's alright. She's a cool actor. She's nowhere near Henry's level, but she's good. I just don't like Cindy in the show as much as I do her father. So I find myself, even though I know I shouldn't be agreeing with the father, agreeing with the father.
Bro, this is the thing, right?
So I want to say I would just, if I had the choice, I would put Shining Knight's stuff in that episode after Courtney's hurt. I would, when Pat instead of following Pat and what's her face, Beth, going into Cindy's house, I would put Shining Knight's storyline there.
Just another thing, which is just another personal thing. The mother's boss, buddy Icicle.
Jordan, yeah.
Is it Icicle? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, yeah. Like because I know that he wants to be with. What is the mother's name? I keep saying the mother. What is it? Is it?
I've completely forgotten.
For some reason, I feel like it's beginning with M, but that might just because I heard them saying Mary, which was obviously his things that bring away his dad. Either way, like, you know, the fact that he wants to be with her, evidently, and I love Pat so much. Yeah. Like, just pisses me off, and like whenever I see him, and whenever I see him with her or go into her office or whatever, I'm just sat there like, oh, Jesus, Doc, come on, man, why are we doing this, man? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, like
Barbara, that's her name,
Barbara, that's the one. Yeah. Whenever he's just with her, I'm just like, oh, do we have to go through this? Pat's banging. But yeah. What I carry on watching yet for the off things, just some off episodes, and not what would I watch more? Watch more 5 definitely.
Yeah,
but like enjoyment. There's off episodes and there's some characters I don't really like that much. Which is few, but they're still there.
Yeah.
And also what was the other one?
So it's how much you enjoyed you're enjoying the series, and how much you want to continue watching the series, based on these 4 episodes, and then how much you're enjoying the series overall, and how much you want to watch season 2.
Yeah. Okay. So want to see season 2 so bad. This is like a theory I have.
Okay.
We obviously saw the woman who's pretty much the housekeeper / air quotes mother of
Bobby.
Yeah. Like, obviously there was that scene where she clearly had an interest towards Pat and like rubbed her leg against him.
Yeah.
I'm just, and I don't want it to happen, but I have a theory like there'll be some case where they won't be on good terms anyway, Barbara and Pat, and then something will happen with Bobby, and then Barbara will be like, oh, what's this? And then she'll go to Icicle for help, support. And
I don't know. I feel like she's against Icicle now.
Do you think? Oh yeah, of course, because
because she did the translating and stuff like that. I think what may happen with Barbie though is I think maybe they might have to confront the Dragon King, and then like they can't find him, or they can't do there's something that they can't do, and then Bobby will just help them because she doesn't want to be in this situation anymore.
Only time will tell.
Only time.
But I want to see it. And there's 13 episodes of Stargirl, is it, or 14?
13. So we have 2 left. By the time this episode comes out, one of them will be out, and then the next day after this episode comes out, the second one will then also be out. But next week, that's not what we're watching. In fact, next week, what we're watching is more Rick and Morty. Yay!
Hey.
So Nathan is one of those people that never watched Rick and Morty. I think maybe because of the toxic fan base. But the show is actually really good. So he's watched the first, I believe, 4 episodes of Rick and Morty. We're going to watch another 4 episodes of Rick and Morty for season 1. And you can watch along with us. So we'll be watching episode 5, 6, 7, 8, I believe.
Yep.
Of season 1 of Rick and Morty. You can watch along with us, or if you've seen it a million times and you don't want to watch along with us, you'll remember whatever happens in the show. So this will just be Nathan's first time watching, my time rewatching, and we'll tell you what we think about the episodes next week. So that's what we watch. Anything else before you wrap us up, Nathan? Because you're wrapping us up.
That's all from me. Anything from you? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to announce? Anything you want to mention, touch upon from earlier?
Anything I should announce?
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay,
just
cool. It felt like a hint then.
No.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I just announced my love for film form, and that's it.
As of the release of this podcast, it was Joel's birthday 2 days ago. Happy birthday for 2 days ago / tomorrow as a filming. Hope you had a good day. He becomes 20. And then if anyone does care, in 4 days' time, as of this podcast releasing, it is my birthday. So we get close proximity. So we're going away for a weekend with a bunch of our mates, and that's kind of like a joint birthday thing, even though it is closer to mine. But
yeah, we're all going to have a nice fun time, which is nice and needed because of this COVID situation. The fact that we can now see each other, this is a good fun time that we can go celebrate our birthday finally. Our birthday.
It is, and I'm glad as well. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening in. We are in fact live from the Batcave, but obviously for you guys we're not. But for us, we are, and that's our excuse. Hope you all did enjoy. Go to subscribe to Film From Studios and JP Lee Productions if his channel is up by now. If not,
it will be in all of the descriptions as soon as it comes up.
Yes,
so just keep having an eye on the descriptions of any of these episodes, and I will update them all when the channel is up.
You should go to Film From Studios. There will be a Star Wars retrospective trailer at which obviously Joel is a part of, along with Film Form and a lot of other creators. But yeah, hope you enjoyed our podcast this week. Remember, it's Rick and Morty next week, episodes 5 to 8. So I hope you all watch along with us. So thank you guys, and we will see you all next Friday. Bye.
Bye.